This is a 1960s Yamaha YG? Yeah, YG something. I don't know the actual the model, but it's been modified to take a Lifan 4-stroke motor. They originally came out as a 2-stroke. I think it was a 3-speed. Was it 3-speed, Andrew?
4-speed manual clutch.
4-speed manual clutch, 2-stroke. And so this has got a semi-automatic 4-stroke 125cc in it. This is just a off-road bash bike. It's got 17-inch wheels front and rear. We're going to take this Lifan out to put into another bike and then put a new one in here. So this Lifan has an inner rotor kit here. Basically this takes a lot of the weight off the standard flywheels, but it removes the ability to have lighting, and this allows the Lifan 125 motors to rev up twice as fast as normal. Over here we have a Lifan. This is how they come from overseas. This is Andrew's Lifan, not mine, but he's so kindly letting us, excuse my left-handed scissor operation, open up. The carb splitter in there. There's one on here already, which you can see, and that's just used to angle the manifold back to almost even with the air intake at the back there. Or you can use it to spin your carburetor around the front if you want to. And here you go. There's just a generic wiring loom here. This is rubbish. Yeah, rubbish. Nothing against Lifan. It's just, it's got a few good bits. Like we use the CDI, use the coil. So yeah, you use the engine wiring loom plug and just cut everything else off. Some people make them work. I've never done it. Kickstart, gear shift, and manifold. And in the bottom here, there's just the heat sink for the carburetor, and then polystyrene. And here it is. There's a carburetor that comes with. This one is branded as a PZ copy, and this brand is specifically is Jinky. They're all much of a muchness. It's got that plasticky choke kind of operation on the side, which is quite flimsy, and they break every now and then. These are okay and they work, but they can be annoying to get running really well, so often we swap them for other fake carbs that work a little bit better and only cost a tiny bit more. Otherwise you can get a genuine Mikuni, but they're quite expensive. But they do work much better without a doubt.
Certificate of authenticity.
Yes, qualification certificate. So this Lifan's qualified to be a motor, and there you go. That's how they come. It's got the exhaust studs already in there. There's a cam chain tensioner under there. There's your oil sump plug. They do have oil in them from the factory, but you don't really want to ride with it. You start it up, run it, and I'll show you the level. It's, well, it's everywhere because the motor's kind of been sideways, but let's check it. From the factory, the oil level is about 2/3 of the way up, but it's almost cooking oil. Don't use it. Run the motor for a minute or two and then drop it out, and just put any 1040 motorcycle oil in. Remove the breather. These engines will spit oil out the back there when you're going wide open throttle for long periods of time. So it's good to have this routed somewhere that it's going to dump underneath the engine there. If you leave that plug on, it will not be able to bypass the oil, and we've done that before accidentally, and they basically just blow blue smoke everywhere for a long time. Lifan side cover, as you can see there. Kickstart, manifold goes there, and then you've got your gear shift pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 at the bottom, neutral, and it's got a 420 or a 428 sprocket, and then you've got your engine number down there in IP54FMI, and that's that. 5 wires coming out. Earth, power, something else, and something else. Cool. It's a Lifan. Let's do a swap. So we just got to do a couple of things. Remove the chain. The wiring goes inside the frame, so we're going to disconnect the wiring. Remove the side cover to do so, I believe. And once the chain's unclipped, which I'll do now, we can just undo 2 engine bolts. Andrew's removing the carburetor at the moment. And yeah, there's not much to it. It's literally held in by 2 bolts. Actually lean it on me and I can still get to the engine. So here we have 2 completely different setups. This is the standard Stator, which is quite large, a little bit of weight. There's your pickup there, and it's got 5 wires coming out of it, and then that means it's able to run a full proper wiring loom with lighting and all that kind of stuff. Over here we've got a completely different setup, which only has a few wires coming out, and you've just got power and to turn the bike on and off, and that's about it. What do you have?
CDI trigger, power and earth.
We're running an offset sprocket here, as you can see. The standard ones here are flat. This is just to compensate for the weird swing arm and stuff compared to a normal Honda. When you're making these fit into a Yamaha, you've got to do a bit of extra work. Leave that on there for as long as you can, because if you drop something down there, you can have a bad time. So what you can see here is this has got a side cover and it says Lifan. These two bolts, if you take these out, this is how you can adjust the clutch under here. Sometimes from the factory they're not adjusted right, so you can take this off, sort that out. Also, this has been 3D printed. It's covered in mud, so it does look a bit dirty, but it's really cool. It's a Honda side cover. It's not trying to copy or say it's a Honda, it's just kind of looks better in the long run. You just do what you want with your own bike, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, that's a really cool little feature, and you can get side covers for this side here that do say Honda as well. There you go, that's good. Try that.
Good.
Yeah, done.
Custom made engine mounts.
Yeah, so that's the bottom engine mount done. We're just going to lift the engine up a bit, like that. And then, so don't forget to feed your wiring through, which we just did.
Which makes it a bit easier.
Feed your wiring through before you put the top engine mount up. Now you can lift this up and put in your top engine mount. The Lifan install is complete. So when you're sorting your carb out, just make sure you're using your gaskets here and your heat sinks when you're actually attaching your carburetor through to the manifold. Sometimes it can pay to change a spark plug, as these are just a Chinese copy of an NGK. I think it's a C7 HSA.
Yep.
That goes into here. A CR7 HSA will probably fit too. That just means it's got a resistor, but it doesn't really matter on this engine. And that's it. Wonderful. Check these after you've thrashed it a while, and you'll be all good.